What's going on, everybody? You're listening to the Sports Drip Live podcast alongside my brother from the same mother, Enrique Contreras. My name is Jose Contreras, and what a show we have for you all today. Just like the stunning victory, surprise victory, Ricky, that we had over the weekend, we're just going to be as equally as exciting. First things
Exactly.
foremost, first things first, Ricky. How are you doing, man?
Good, man. Just got a new haircut and feeling fresh today. Ready to do the show.
Yeah, man, you look good, bro. You look good. You know who didn't look good?
Who?
Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards didn't look good most of that fight against Kamaru Usman, Ricky, but he still came out on top.
Exactly.
The fight was all but over, Ricky, aside from a takedown and a rear naked choke attempt in the first round. Leon Edwards was handedly losing to Kamaru Usman, and there was less than a minute left. Usman, Ricky, was on the verge of winning his 16th straight UFC fight, tying Anderson Silva's record, and it looked like another dominant performance from the man considered the best pound for pound fighter in the world. And then, bam,
Just like that.
just like that, Edwards ripped the left head kick, and Usman was unconscious on impact. At 4 minutes and 4 seconds of the fifth round, Edwards knocked out the seemingly invincible Usman to snap his historic streak and win the UFC welterweight championship on Saturday, Ricky. Everybody was stunned. You were stunned. I was stunned. The announce crew, if you guys haven't seen Joe Rogan's reaction,
All right.
if stunned, if absolutely flabbergasted, was it? I know it's in a dictionary, and there has to be a picture of Joe Rogan's face after Leon Edwards knocked out Kamaru Usman, because that's exactly what happened.
Exactly.
18,000 fans in attendance, Ricky, were all stunned and whipped into a frenzy, chanting Edwards' Rocky nickname because it was just like a Rocky movie after
Especially,
defeating.
especially his corner.
Yeah,
Especially his corner. Telling
exactly.
in that fifth round, telling him like, dude, you're letting this slip. Don't give yourself a chance. His corner was just going off on him, man, and
Yep.
he woke him up, bro. And it's exactly like in a Rocky movie.
Exactly like a Rocky movie.
Yeah.
Rocky indeed, Ricky. It was a rocky start for Leon Edwards, but a glorious finish, and he is now the new welterweight champion in the UFC. Um, I know we just said it. We were surprised, we were stunned, but what was your initial reaction when you first saw this? Because I was like, "Holy shit!"
Man, first of all, before we get there, man, Leon Edwards had a good first round. Actually, as a matter of fact, he was probably the first guy that I've seen that I think in the UFC that has taken down Kamaru Usman. He actually took him down towards the end of that first round and threatened a rear naked choke, and was looking really good, man. Kamaru Usman for the first time was looking in trouble, like he was in trouble in the fight, in that very first round. But then after that, man, it's just like that woke him up, and all of a sudden he went into champ mode, and he just dominated rounds 2, 3, and 4, and even in 5, even in, the beginning of round number 5. And by that time, man, I already was like, okay, it's over. By that last minute of that fifth round, okay, that's it. Kamaru Usman, another title defense. He's gonna tie Anderson Silva's record. Even the guys on commentary, Joe Rogan, John Anik, and DC were writing their obituaries, like they said, like they were saying, like, hey, this,
Yeah,
he
right.
was like, that's it, man. He's done, and the best thing he could do is just try to not be finished and go out, go the distance. But man, as soon as I saw he landed, Leon Edwards landed that kick, bro, and then I see Usman go down, and it took me a couple seconds to process to see what I was watching. I was like, whoa, Kamaru Usman went down. He was out. He got Leon Edwards knocked him into the shadow realm, and that was it, bro. Surprise! It was. I was shocked. I mean, the most shocked that I mean, since watching Juliana Pena finish Amanda Nunes. That's how shocked I was. If not even more.
Absolutely.
If not even more. So
I,
man,
I think I was more shocked because there was no way in hell I had Leon Edwards. And look, and shame on me. I've said it plenty of times on this show. When you have that puncher's chance, anything is possible. But
especially in this sport.
right, especially in this sport. But it's one thing saying it and one thing witnessing it, and it's like, holy crap! It's
Yeah.
still nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when we were previewing this. I was like, you know what? I have Kamaru Usman winning by decision. And sure enough, that's what it looked like it was gonna go. Sure enough, that's what it was going. But
Yeah.
I did say, you know what, Leon Edwards does have a chance. If he learned from the first fight, learn how to defend the takedowns, he is the better striker on standing up. He is the more accomplished striker, and he was defending very well. He did get taken down a few times throughout the rounds, but he didn't stay there. He scrambled up, he got up, and he was able to get up, but he was gassed. And it probably had to do with the altitude over there in Salt Lake City, but he gassed like right there in that second round, and that's when it looked like it was over and he was done. But man, that kick, I tell you what, man, that was no fluke. That was no fluke at all. That kick, that was a perfectly timed skill kick. You
Yep.
know, he set it up. He basically he set that up because if anybody that trains kickboxing knows, or even boxing, you try to throw a feint jab to try to set up a big right hand or big left hand, whichever, what stance you are. What he did, he set up, because since he's a southpaw, he just threw that right jab just a little bit and made Kamaru Usman think that he was setting up for a big left hand. But the whole time the real setup was that kick. He set up that left with that left hand to land that kick. And that was when Kamaru Usman leaned right into it. Apparently trying to get out of the way of that left hand, and that's where he got caught.
Yeah.
So that was something that I'm sure he practiced in the gym many times to get, to land in the fight, to try to find to land in this fight, and that's what he did, bro.
That's exactly what happened. And again, it was a shocker to say the least. And on top of that, Ricky Edwards did it against the best fighter in UFC. Let's be honest, Kamaru Usman was one of the greatest, to grace the UFC, to grace that division. He was already in talks about the GOAT conversation. He was up there in talks with guys like Anderson Silva, GSP, George St. Pierre, you name it, right?
Right.
Kamaru Usman was in those talks, and for him to go down like that, he was even surprised. He was even like, "Holy crap! There's no way." Especially when a win is that close, but that close to reach, and for you to just let your guard down and bam, knockout. Wow, it's what a way to go. But hey, I tell you what, if you're gonna go down, you might as well go down like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Might as well go down fighting. Like I said, he was winning the entire fight. He just got caught. He got caught by a nasty kick and lights out. But how much of a fluke was that, Ricky? Or do you think Leon Edwards is just that was a legit win?
No, that's a legit win, man. That was not a fluke. Like, just like I said, it wasn't Kamaru Usman being reckless and then Leon Edwards catching him with a lucky kick. That was technique. There was technique and timing behind that kick that he threw. Like I said, he made Kamaru think that he was setting up for the big left hand, but in reality, he was setting up that kick. And he fooled Kamaru in thinking that he was trying to hit him with the left hand, and that was why Kamaru leaned to his right to try to get out of the way of that left hand, and then that's when he leaned right into that kick. So not a fluke at all, bro. And especially in this sport, when anything can happen, that's what makes the sport real great. You can think it ain't over until it's over, until that final horn rings. So, like you said, puncher's chance, even a kicker's chance, whatever you want to call it, it can happen, bro. And it's happened many times in the sport, and we saw it last weekend, bro. And I couldn't be any more happier. And look, man, that wasn't even the best part. The best part was after, bro. When you see Leon Edwards, dude, when he won it, and he was telling his life story how he grew up in Jamaica with nothing, living in a wooden shed or something like that with his family. You know what I'm saying? And then this is what he dreamed of. Everybody told him that he wasn't going to be able to become ever champion. He wasn't good enough. He was never going to accomplish his goals, and he did it, bro. And he cried right there in the middle of the ring. And then I saw a video of him calling his mom, crying, celebrating the victory with his mom. Made me a fan, bro. I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of Leon Edwards, but after seeing that, man, after watching this guy accomplish his life's dream, man, became a big fan, bro.
Yeah, 100%, Ricky. There's no, it's something straight out of a movie. I mean, we mentioned Rocky, right? Because Leon Edwards' nickname is Rocky, but it's something straight out of a movie. Is that the best knockout ever? Do you consider that the best? Not only because of how huge it was, the severity of the fight. Not only are you going against the champion, but you're going against Kamaru Usman, a guy who beat you already, a guy who dominated this division and this sport for so long, a guy who was literally about to make history and tie Anderson Silva's 16th streak win record, or 17, right? It would have been 17 if he would have won record. Like there was so much riding on this. This was such a big fight for Leon Edwards, and for him to win like that, is that considered to you the greatest knockout of all time?
It is for many reasons, bro. Not only because of who it was, considered one of the greatest welterweights of all time. I still think he's not where GSP is, but he definitely is in the conversation. It wasn't because of who he was and how long he's been on top, but also because of where Leon Edwards was coming from. Like we just mentioned, the struggles that he went through in his life. Not only that, but then the struggles that he went through the past 2 or 3 years, where he couldn't get a fight to save his life in the UFC. He was stuck in the UK because we were in the middle of COVID, a lot of canceled fights. A lot of guys like Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington were getting title shots before him. Just how unlucky he was, for the past 2 or 3 years. And then in the fight with Nate Diaz, where a fight that he won, but he doesn't get remembered for it. Everybody remembers when Nate Diaz almost knocked him out in that 5th round.
It was a crazy fight because he came back right when he was losing.
Yeah,
He came back, almost knocked him out.
Yeah. And if you think about it, this was similar too, right? It's similar to the Nate Diaz fight, only the reverse. Only this
very
time,
resilient fighter Leon Edwards is.
Yeah, he came back, landed that kick, but he actually finished and got it. So I think,
right.
Yeah. So especially this is really up there, man. This is one of the greatest knockouts I've ever seen. Because of the two guys involved.
100%. I agree with you. 100%, Ricky. In the comments section, we have Eric Avila, our boy Eric. What's going on, man? Says, Ricky, do you think he was distracted talking about Kamaru Usman? Because he said, with him getting the fame, being in movies, especially the new Black Panther movie, do you think he was distracted? Do you think maybe he wasn't all in? You know how it is. When you're a champion, you're the champion. You're not really the hunter. You're the hunted. Right. So, that killer instinct, I don't want to say it goes away, but to me, it always seems like when you're going for something that you never had before, when you're going for something that you dreamt of your whole life, you have that little extra, you know what I mean? I think Leon Edwards had it. But do you think what Eric is saying is true? Do you think there's any validity to that Kamaru Usman was distracted?
It could be, man, because it's like you said, when guys are on top for so long, a lot of fame comes with it, a lot of distractions. Obviously, he's going to be in the new Black Panther movie. And then he's over here talking about wanting to fight Canelo, wanting to fight at 205, all that nonsense. So, it might have played a factor. And not to mention, he also said after one of the interviews he did after the fight, he said that, they asked him, how do you feel about this loss? How do you feel after losing the title? And he says, I feel relieved. So that's what he says. He feels so. He probably had a lot of weight on his shoulders, man. Being called one of the greatest or the greatest welterweight of all time, pound for pound, best fighter of all time. So yeah, that could be a factor, but I'm not discounting Leon Edwards, man. It's like I said, that guy brought it. He was hungry. This was really one of his only chances, bro. Because if he wouldn't have not won this fight, I doubt Leon Edwards would have ever got another title fight.
As we have our third brother in the shot.
Look at him. I haven't seen him in a while. Look at him. Welcome to the Sports Drip Podcast.
Yeah, for real, man. Joshua Cabrera, Ricky, in the comments saying, anyone see the Gabe Flores Jr. fight? Did you get to catch that one? I didn't see it.
I have not seen that one. No, not yet.
No, we'll definitely check it out, Joshua, and we'll get back to you for sure. If you're listening to Sports Drip Live alongside my brother Enrique Contreras, I am Jose Contreras. Sergio Contreras in the background. Rick, with the Kamaru Usman, now that he's out, or now that he lost his championship to Leon Edwards, what is next in the welterweight division? Do you think Leon Edwards? Do you think there should be a trilogy fight between the two guys, a rubber match, so to say? I guess a rubber match, right? Because they're both one apiece. Or do you think Khamzat Chimaev comes up? Maybe even a match between Leon Edwards and why am I blanking on his name? Hold on, let me check the Leon Edwards and Jorge Masvidal.
What are you talking about? Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, now they have been talking about that Kamaru Usman, since he's been on top for so long, that he should get the immediate rematch. And I agree. I mean, he obviously deserves it, just like how Amanda Nunes got, the immediate rematch for her belt. So yeah, that makes sense. But listen, man, if I were Leon Edwards, I'm looking at what's the biggest fight that I can get right now. Hamza Chimaev right now is going to fight Nate Diaz. All right, so he's not in the picture just yet. So if if I ask you, bro, what's the biggest fight that Leon Edwards can do? Is it a trilogy with Kamaru, or is it that a grudge match, 2 or 3 years in the making with Jorge Masvidal, coming back from that 3-piece and a soda back in the O2 Arena in Leon Edwards' hometown? What would you? What if you were at Leon, Matt? What do you think? What do you think is the bigger? What's the fight you want to see?
I would want to see a Kamaru Usman Leon Edwards third trilogy, only because Jorge Masvidal Ricky doesn't have it for me anymore. The guy's on a losing streak right now.
Right.
He couldn't beat Colby Covington. I mean, he was able to beat him in a nightclub, but he can't do it in a UFC octagon.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? He can't. Hopefully, he can beat him in court too. I don't know if that's possible either. But he's on a losing streak. He doesn't deserve a title shot.
Right.
Do I want to see a match between the two guys in the future? Yes, but I also want to see Jorge Masvidal earn it. Right? Him going for the title. I get he's still a big name per se. It doesn't do it for me though. I want to see greatness. I want to see another good fight. They're 1-1 right now with Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman. That makes the most sense. You do it. Winner takes all. Get the belt back. You know what I mean? I think that's the one that makes the most sense.
Right. That look, I'm with you there, bro. That makes a lot of sense. But hear me out here. All right. Now, so we go back into 2019. This is when Jorge Masvidal was at the height of his popularity. All right. They're in the O2 Arena. They're in England. They're in Leon Edwards' hometown. Both guys won their fights that night. They get into a confrontation backstage. He hits him with, that what he calls a 3-piece in a soda, leaves a gash under his eye. Basically, that was part of Leon Edwards' bad luck back then.
Right.
Everybody knows that he was not happy about that, and he's been wanting to get revenge ever since. Now, Leon Edwards is the welterweight champion right now. Dana White in the post-fight press conference says that he wants to do a main event with Leon Edwards either in the O2 Arena or Wembley Stadium over there in England. Right. Now, if I was Leon Edwards, I would look at both these fights. I'd be like, you know what? And if Dana White too can look at this and be like, what's the biggest fight that he could put right here? Either a trilogy with Usman or a grudge match with Jorge Masvidal. Masvidal, yes, he does not deserve a title shot right now. 3-fight losing streak right now. But it makes a lot of sense business wise for the UFC.
Yeah, but I hate that though. I hate that they do that. Yeah, it's gonna look. Regardless of who you put in there, let's be honest. The place is gonna be packed. There's gonna be interest to it. Yes, people are gonna want to see another match between Leon Edwards and Jorge Masvidal. But
they haven't fought yet. They haven't fought yet. This will be the first time they would fight. In the cage. In the cage, it'll be the first time they would fight.
In the cage, right. But still.
Right? And look, and look, if Leon, how sweet would it be for Leon Edwards to get that fight, make more money, get more of a spotlight on him, get more mainstream attention on him, fighting a guy like Jorge Masvidal, who's considered the second biggest draw in the UFC, and then getting revenge on this guy for that 3-piece in the soda that he did in the O2 Arena, and then do it again back here at the O2 Arena, or just in England. How sweet would it be for Leon Edwards to get that revenge back on the guy that embarrassed him all those years ago?
But if you're Leon Edwards, do you really care? You just literally knocked out one of the greatest fighters of all time in Kamaru Usman. Do you really care about someone like Jorge Masvidal who can't even win right now in the UFC?
No.
It's like
He doesn't care about it.
Hold on, but if anything, Ricky, it's like you're on the top of the mountain. Why are you looking down? Like, I get it. There's nowhere else to look if we're all the way on top, right? But still, but you look down. If you're Leon Edwards, you don't even see Jorge Masvidal right now. He's not even in your eyesight right now. Why do you worry about someone like him? To me, it's like I've been there. I'll get him. I'll get him when he gets here, but he has to earn it.
Right, but there's a benefit there for him as far as financial and more attention on him. There is a benefit there for him, and he can capitalize it right now. While he's on top and while he's a champion, and he could just finish him off, get rid of him, and really put the nail in his coffin. Because I think that Leon Edwards would win that fight if that were to materialize.
Yeah,
and Dana White.
I agree.
And then look, if you're Dana White, okay, look. But then if you're Dana White, you look at this like, look, my biggest fight that I had planned, which was Usman versus Chimaev for the welterweight champion, has been destroyed just from that one kick.
No,
Just from that one kick.
but here's the thing. I don't think it's been destroyed.
No,
But
it could definitely happen, but it's just that it doesn't have the same aura anymore. You can't say Usman, who has not lost in the UFC on a 16 fight winning streak, tied with Anderson Silva, going for the all time record now against an undefeated welterweight phenom like Khamzat Chimaev.
and that's why
they can no longer say that. You know what I mean?
But yes, I get that. But that's why I think it makes more sense for Edwards to face someone like Usman, because again, you don't just leapfrog everybody. I hate when UFC does that. They do it because they think it's the bigger car. They make the more money. But I get there's a storyline, but what a slap in the face! What a slap in the face it is to guys like Khamzat Chimaev, who right now is a beast, a guy who should be the number one contender after defeating Gilbert Burns, who was number 2.
Right.
He should be number 1 now.
But then they go and put him up against Nate Diaz, who's unranked and pretty much on his way out the door.
Exactly, and that is exactly why I feel it's not. It's just I hate when the UFC does that. I get it; they want to make more money, but come on, who really wants to see Khamzat Chimaev and Nate Diaz? Let me retract. We want to see that fight.
I want to see it.
We want to see the fight.
Hey, if you're gonna put it together, I want to watch it.
Right. Yeah, but we both know who's gonna come out on top, right?
Right. I think they're doing Nate pretty dirty on this one on the way out.
Well, I mean, you never know, right? After seeing Leon Edwards and what they did to Usman, I guess you never really know. But that's the thing. Why would you, if you're UFC, why would you do that to yourself? It's like you already had this blew up in your face. Like, why would you want someone like Nate Diaz to knock out someone like Khamzat Chimaev unexpectedly? Then it's like, oh damn, the rankings really don't matter. You know what I mean? The rankings really don't matter. You just put anybody in a fight and then and see what happens.
That's what I'm saying. I'm with you that it does not make any sense for Jorge Masvidal, and he doesn't deserve it. He does not deserve it. Being on a 3-fight losing streak, he does not deserve it. But on a business standpoint, it makes sense. On a business standpoint, and
that's right.
And don't be surprised if it happens. That's all I'm saying. I'm not agreeing that if it happens, but I'm also not going to sit here and lie and say, you know what, I don't want to see that fight, because if they put it on, that's a fight I want to see.
Yeah, I mean, I will watch it regardless for sure.
Yeah.
Just like you guys are watching. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, but that's it, man. And then if I'm looking at both fights, that's the biggest fight they can make as far as attention, pay-per-view buys, the live gate. I know, man, but remember, this is the fight business. Man. This is the hurt business, bro. Keyword business.
I get it, but I don't. To me, it doesn't. It is. I don't know. I'd rather see Usman Edwards. That's just me, to be honest. You have to watch
eventually.
Right.
That'll happen eventually. It could happen. Most likely it will. Most likely it will be next. I'm just saying, though. If I'm Leon Edwards, I would want to call my shots, man. You're the champ. You deserve it.
Yeah, definitely. Just like a surprise guest for our little brother in the background. We got a surprise ending to that fight for sure. You guys listen to Sports Drip Live podcast alongside my older brother Enrique Contreras. My name's Jose Contreras, guys. Let's move on. Ricky. Paulo Costa defeated Luke Rockhold. I think you and I both knew this was going to happen. Visibly exhausted following a wild opening round. Former middleweight champion Luke Rockhold used every drop of blood, sweat to make it to the finish line against Paulo Costa on Saturday and nearly scored a dramatic stoppage victory during an outright insane final round. But in the end, the 37-year-old Rockhold would call an official end to his career following a unanimous decision loss to Paulo Costa. Ricky, what a fight! What a career for Luke Rockhold. What do you think about this?
Yeah, this is fight of the night, man. I mean, it was back. I mean, at first, I initially predicted that there was going to be a knockout by Paulo Costa, but I should not have doubted a veteran just like Luke Rockhold. He was in there. He showed a lot of heart, man. He gassed very early in this fight, but he held in there, and it was a great back and forth, man. Especially in the fifth round, where he was actually rocking Costa and looked like he could have put the finishing touches on his fight. And then just for good measure, right at the end, he was rubbing his blood on his face.
Yeah.
So yeah, great fight, man. This is an exciting fight to watch.
What did you think about that, Ricky? The blood rubbing from Mr. Rocco there would.
Not
Yeah.
surprised, man. This guy, this guy's crazy, man. I mean, it is what you know. I'm sure that's what he was thinking. Okay, I lost. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna lose this fight, so I'm gonna do something that people are probably gonna remember, and that's what he did. So, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So, hey, this is a blood sport, man.
it is. It's a blood sport. What do you think about Luke Rockhold retiring after this fight, Ricky?
Hate to see it, man. I hate to see him go out. Like, I mean, he hasn't fought in like about 3 years, 2 or 3 years. So, with the kind of career that he had, man, you know, one of the last strike four middleweight champions that there was there, and then winning the UFC middleweight champion. He has wins over guys like Michael Bisping. You know, he had a great career, man. He can look back and just relax. You know what? Just relax, man. Look back on your career, and yeah, great.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. As far as Paulo Costa goes, Ricky, what
Uh,
happened here? I mean,
I believe
good
this
fight.
might have been his last fight with the UFC. With his current deal. So apparently they're working out. I guess the UFC right now is working out a deal with him. He's made claims that he might want to fight Jake Paul or something or whatever, man, or
Yeah,
maybe even go to the PFL or Bellator, whatever. But I think he'll be back. I think they're in the middle of negotiations right now with the UFC, so
yeah,
I'm sure he'll be back, man. He's still in the thick of it as far as the middleweight rankings.
yeah. He's still there. We'll see what happens with that contract. I'm hoping to see another fight between the two. Hopefully, one that's a lot better than the last one between Adesanya and Luke Rockhold. I mean, not
Or
Luke Rockhold and Paulo Costa, but
or it could be Pereira or Alex Pereira.
yeah, Alex Pereira. We can't
That
forget about we can't forget about Alex Pereira either. Yeah, absolutely.
no.
But nonetheless, good win for him. Good pickup win. Rockhold retired, Ricky, but he wasn't the only one who probably retired after Saturday's fight. Jose Aldo supposedly told Merab Devashili it was his last fight
Mm.
in the ring together. And we have very well may have seen Jose Aldo compete for the last time instead of the octagon at UFC 278 this past weekend. All those resurgent 3-fight win streak Ricky came to a halt on Saturday night after facing Gregorian wrestling sensation Merab the Machine Devashili, who picked up the unanimous decision win over the iconic former champion. And after the fight, the two shared a moment in the octagon on their knees, exchanging words before Aldo potentially departed for the final time in his 39-fight career. Merab said when he was down and we shook his hand, and he told him thank you so much for the fight.
Right.
And he said, "Yeah, this means this is my
Might be, right?
this may very well be his last fight, Ricky. If that's the case, what do you think about that? And how did you see the fight as a whole?
Well, I mean, it was not the most exciting fight in the card, to be honest. And although, even though he was defending the takedowns, he wasn't really throwing much. He wasn't really letting his hands go like that. And it was just pretty much like a dominant win for Maram and using his wrestling, using the clinch. So I mean, Dana White in the conference, he didn't wasn't really too happy about the match, and that doesn't think Marab is gonna get a title shot anytime soon. I don't think that puts him. I don't think he really did himself any favors. If anything, that puts Marlon Vera even more higher to, on the totem pole to see if he can get a title shot. But
Yeah,
so, I mean, that's how that goes right there, man. But as far as Jose Aldo, if he does retire, man, hopefully he doesn't. But the thing about it is that, man, this guy, even though he hasn't been the same fighter for many years, he was still top five, top three fighters in any division that he was in, featherweight,
absolutely. Yep.
bantamweight, bantamweight. So, but I guess the problem that's always been is recently with Jose Aldo is that even though he would be there when it would be time for him to actually try to, I guess, like if he was like one fight away from getting a title shot,
Yeah.
he doesn't pull the trigger, he doesn't get there. Um so yeah, if this is his last fight, but it's not official, he hasn't made any. I haven't seen anything official about it yet, but yeah, if he does, man, what a career he's gonna leave behind, man. We'll talk about that if that day comes.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely talk about that. And we're talking Sports Drip Live here with my brother Enrique. My name is Jose. We were just talking UFC, Ricky. And yeah, I agree with you 100%. Jose Aldo, one of the greatest to ever
All
lace
time.
him up. Yeah, to ever
Hell
put the
yeah,
gloves.
one of the greatest featherweights of all time for sure.
Absolutely, he came out. I remember those fights he had with Frankie Edgar. I mean, this guy just fights in general. You're not,
Yeah,
not
Uriah,
with Uriah
Uriah
Faber.
Faber, Chad
Uriah
Mendes, man,
Faber. I
it goes
mean,
on.
the list goes on and on. I mean, he was one of the dominant champions for sure. And even now, at this age, at this stage of his career, he was, for him to be on a 3-fight win streak, still showing dominance in his own right.
Still staying high in the rankings.
So, yeah, still staying high in the rankings.
That's a testament to him, man. He
absolutely.
doesn't when he hasn't been able to make it to the finish line as of late, but he still stays there, man. So
Yeah,
we'll see what he does next, man.
yeah,
See what he does next.
definitely.
I was hoping if he, I was saying if he would have won this fight, I think he would have got the next title shot. Very
Yeah,
possible they would have got it.
yeah.
But
I mean, you never know. Anything can happen. Anything can happen in the UFC. We might just see him again. But let's move on, Ricky, to some wrestling because we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about. You know what? Let's go into boxing real quick, real quickly because I think wrestling will take most of our time. Anthony Joshua, Ricky, Alexander Usyk. What did you see here? Talk to us about it.
yeah, so look, Anthony Joshua looked better in this fight. He was landing a lot of body hooks. He was starting to rally up in the later rounds, but just like in the first fight, man, Usyk used his superior boxing. He was the much quicker puncher, more accurate. He was landing, and you know what? He won this fight. He won this fight convincingly. Although Joshua, he was starting to pick up in the later rounds, and he rocked Usyk many times. He could have finished him.
Yeah,
But the footwork of Usyk, he was able to get out. He was able to recover, and he won. He won the unanimous decision. So, or I believe it was a split decision. Actually, it was a split decision.
split. Yeah,
That he won. Yep, split decision. And now there's talk that Tyson Fury has expressed that he wants to come out of retirement again.
typical. I think we've all seen this coming.
Yeah. So and then he wants to make his claims that you guys got 7 days and let's get this fight going or something like that. Hopefully for our sake, this fight happens. I would like to see both undefeated fighters go at it, man. Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury. So we'll see what happens in the coming days, coming weeks, months. But this fight definitely should happen, man. It's very interesting.
Definitely very interesting. Both undefeated guys. Of course, I seen this coming. I think no matter who, despite who won, I saw Tyson Fury coming out of retirement. What's like second time already he did this?
Second, third time, fourth. I lost count, bro.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's like, okay, here, typical. Here we go, another fight, but why not? Right? I mean, I'm interested. I'm invested for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely want to see a fight.
Anthony Joshua, though, at the end of the fight, he was not happy, man. He wasn't happy with the decision. He
No.
kind of melted right there on camera. He got on the mic, started saying, it's bullshit, whatever.
Yeah.
You can understand his frustration, man. He came more prepared. He came more prepared. Okay, he was being unprofessional, but he came real prepared. He really wanted to win this fight, and he looked better in this fight, way better than in the first one. But just it's like I said, Usyk is the superior boxer.
Yeah,
and he did it again. He won. He proved why he's one of the best in the world, and now he's setting up himself for a big money fight with Tyson Fury. Hopefully, maybe maybe next year or something. But we'll see what happens.
Yep, 100%. Ricky, we got some breaking news.
What's that?
Jon Moxley defeated CM Punk in the AEW Championship Unification match on Dynamite.
Yes, I saw it.
All Elite Wrestling guys, interim world champion Jon Moxley defeated AEW world champion CM Punk in the AEW World Championship Unification match on tonight's episode of Dynamite to officially become the first ever two-time AEW world champion. Punk hit Moxley with a roundhouse kick early, but he appeared to re-injure his left foot while doing so. That opened the door for Moxley to dominate Punk in this match. He finished him off with a paradigm shift for the win and for the belt. Moxley celebrating the victory, Ricky, in the crowd, while Punk had to be helped in the back. Do you think the reason why Moxley won was because CM Punk maybe realized throughout the match that he might have broken his foot again?
It's either that, or he probably was never ready. Like he's not fully healed and not ready to come back
So they want to move
full
on.
time, full time again. So he
Yeah.
probably decided to come and move on. I think that might be the reason why this happened. Why they decided to throw the match, so a week's notice. They threw it last week on Dynamite.
Yeah.
Instead this was supposed to be the main event for All Out, and they just randomly threw this match, you know, a week after, and this is what happened. So yeah, I can believe that, and then there's also the rumors with CM Punk that we'll probably get into too, man.
Yeah,
He might
well,
have
we're gonna get into it for sure. But real quickly, if that's the case, why not? What I don't get it though. It's like, why not just keep the belt on Punk and have that for when he does come back fully healthy? If he wasn't healthy to begin with, then why go through all this song and dance just to get Moxley the real belt? I mean, he was already the interim champion. I mean,
yeah.
I don't
I
understand unless
nah,
they thought Punk was really healthy and then re-injured it again, and they're like, well, crap. Now we really gotta, you know what I mean, take the butt off him. But even then, it's just kind of like,
that could be too, man, because this happened like that. It just happened randomly right there last week, where they
yeah,
just threw the match. So that's very possible too. That he probably re-injured it, or either there while he was in Dynamite last week, or even
yeah.
or even tonight. So yeah, I do think that, yeah, he probably is not ready to come back full time, and they just wanted to get the belt off of him, and make Moxley the undisputed champion, so that way they can, I guess, move on with some stories and stuff like that while CM Punk heals. Because I think they decided to do it tonight rather than do it at All Out and piss off the live Chicago fans.
That's
Because
true.
the way that match ended today, well, I mean, it basically looked like a squash match. It looked like John Moxley just squashed CM Punk. It was a quick
And
match.
I'm glad you said that because Chicago being the hometown of CM Punk. Well, today they were in the hometown of John Moxley in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're gonna do it, might as well do it in his hometown. That way, you're not really pissing off, the fans.
Yeah, you don't want you don't want to riot. You don't want the
Exactly.
fans to riot, take over and hijack your show.
I,
So
I,
I
I
think
would go ahead.
no, I'm just saying that's probably the reasoning for it. They just wanted to get it done here instead of in Chicago.
It makes sense. It makes sense that I would say I did find it very entertaining. These two guys going back and forth last week on Dynamite. Seems
Yeah.
like CM Punk was ready to go out. I mean, he was going after John Moxley.
Oh yeah, he burned them with those.
Yeah, he was really going after him. The part where he said you're the third best guy in your group. It seems to be your whole career. It was
Yeah,
kind of
like a recurring theme in your career.
was
that
pretty
was a
rough.
that was a sick burn, man.
It was, yeah, yeah. I'm surprised he went that far. But even before that, Ricky, as you alluded to a little bit earlier, it seemed like he had something going with the Hangman on a page because obviously Punk opened up AEW Dynamite, cut in a promo on John Moxley as we just mentioned. But then he also went impromptu. He also wanted an impromptu title match against Hangman Adam Page, calling him out, claiming he had been disrespected, and he called Page a coward.
Yeah,
He basically
not
called him out there.
yeah, like you're saying, that's not cowboy shit. That's coward shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and
So
reports popped up, Ricky, the days that followed that was unplanned, and it stemmed from backstage drama between the two guys regarding a promo Page cut leading up to their match at Double or Nothing. And there's heavy speculation that Punk was upset about Page implying Punk's alleged attempt to have Colt Cabana kicked out of the company.
yeah.
So it seems to be some real lying beef between these two stars here in AEW. What's your take on that?
Look, we know about the CM Punk and Colt Cabana stuff, man. That dates back to when he was on his show, airing out all the stuff that he went through in WWE, and
Yeah,
then WWE, and then one of the doctors in WWE suing both guys. And we don't need to get into it, but we all know the story between those two, right? So
yeah,
um so yeah, man. As soon as I heard this, apparently they were saying that Hangman, I guess, was alluding to it in one of his promos leading up to their title match at Double or Nothing, and CM Punk didn't take too kindly to it. Apparently, you know, if you look, Colt Cabana was part of the Dark Order, and you don't see him anymore. He got taken out of the group. You don't see They don't see him on TV no more. and apparently they're saying he's not backstage anymore. And it looked like AEW was considering letting him go, but then decided to keep him for the Ring of Honor roster.
Yeah.
So that I guess with all that going on, because they say that Cole Cabana is very well liked backstage. There's a lot of guys in the locker room that don't like CM Punk for that. And then there's also his defender saying that, oh, Hangman started the whole thing, trying to bring back, backstage things into the public or whatever. Um Look, hey, if I'm being honest, man, as a fan, I like all this drama. That's I mean, it gets you more interested in what's going on backstage in the product. It gives us stuff to talk about on the show, right? So hey, whatever, man. If there's drama, if there's real life drama, all that stuff, man. Hey, it's exciting to listen to, man.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. It really is exciting to listen to. But it's just more drama, unnecessary drama on AEW's part. When you already have your competition, who it seems to be getting better,
Yeah.
and you're having this type of drama between your stars, it's not a good look. I mean, the MJF pipe bomb, as great as it was, we know there was some validity to a lot that he was saying.
Right.
Now you have your guys here doing what they're doing, and
I think it's starting now to come out that not all things are hunky dory back there
oh,
in AEW,
100%.
man. There's a lot of things coming on now, a lot of backstage stuff. A lot of guys are claiming that they don't like their booking and their position in the company. So yeah, man, we don't know. I mean, there was even reports about CM Punk being unhappy himself. Like, I don't know how this guy could be unhappy when he's like the top star of the company.
Yeah, he's being catered to for sure.
Yeah, so man, this pretty interesting things that are coming out, and this is probably, like you said, the worst time for this to happen, especially with WWE, all the stuff that's going on in WWE, all the changes, Triple H in power. Everybody seems to wants to work under Triple H. Even some guys in the company were reaching out to guys in AEW, asking if they want to come back. So yeah, if I was Tony Khan, man, we both know Tony Khan is one big mark, right?
Yeah.
He's just one big mark, but I think it's time for him to start stepping up, man. He needs to be the leader in that locker room now. He needs to, get his shit in order there.
I
Because
mean, yeah, because there's even reports coming out of today, Ricky, that they held a mandatory meeting in AEW. Tony Khan did this afternoon before Dynamite in Cleveland. AEW is said to have held a mandatory meeting with talent. First reported by Fightful Select, with their sources among the wrestlers saying that the expected it to address rumors of unrest, contract inquiries, and personal issues. So these are notes from the meeting from these wrestlers. Tony Khan led the meeting. Insider described the AEW owner as a very animated and impassioned guy. He was fired up, basically what they were saying. He recently expanded their talent relations teams, and other systems and structures recently put in place were covered. An email was also sent to the roster briefing them on the new coaches and talent relations people. It was stressed these were put in place to make things better for the talent. It also says Khan was discussed in response to rumors of inability to speak to him and miscommunication resulting Executive Vice Presidents Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, but they made it clear that their doors are always open and issues can be addressed with them as well. And then the insider's account mentioned that Tony Khan told the team AEW's chief legal officer Mega Parke sent an email to WWE co-CEOs Nick Khan and Stephanie McMahon right before the meeting, warning them not to tamper with his talent.
Nice.
And Tony Schiavone and Chris Jericho are also said to have addressed
Tony Schiavone, bro.
Tony Schiavone, yeah. I'm sorry.
Don't diss my boy Tony Schiavone, man.
Yeah, Tony Schiavone and Chris Jericho were also said to have also addressed, this meeting. There'll be more as it comes out, but clear a lot there. Basically, basically he hired a whole bunch of new talent relations people to help with the underlying issues going on backstage. Made it clear that their doors are always open when they need it, and he basically told WWE straight up, "Stop messing with my talent, because if
fuck off, WWE. Yeah. It's just this I just mentioned that too, how they were reaching out to former
Hmm.
talent to see if they want to come back. I'm thinking it
Yeah,
was Swerve Strickland because
probably.
they just brought back Hit Row, so they were probably
You're real.
contacting him. No, they never said it was him, but I have a feeling it was him. But yeah,
Oh yeah, 100%.
there you go, man. That's I mean that's what he needs to do, man. He needs because he's pretty much running everything, so he needs to start delegating some of his responsibilities to try to
Yeah,
make try to keep his guys happy, man. Because with the way everything going on in WWE, man, you don't want to lose your top stars going back to that company. You
don't
know,
like Vince McMahon was a lot of things, right? Really good
Mhm.
at his job is making money, but he was the owner. You can't do both. Run the business side of it. Leave it alone. Let the guys do their job. Tony Khan right now is their owner. He's the president. He's their booker. Like it's like, come on, dude. Like
yeah,
you can't do it all. You know
yeah,
what
and
I mean? Like,
then on
sit back,
top of that, buddy, on top of that, he runs the Jacksonville Jaguars. He runs a soccer team, and like, I mean, dude, I mean, eventually you're gonna burn yourself out, man. So yeah, you gotta spread the wealth here.
yeah. Spread the responsibility. I'm pretty sure there's guys there that'll take over the booking side of everything. I mean, I don't see
Yeah,
why Chris Jericho, I think, will be great at that. He's always good with whatever he does. I think he'd be great. Give him
yeah.
that man.
He already has William Regal there. He could help out. I think he's pretty
Absolutely.
good.
William Regal's there.
Yeah. And if he wants to hire somebody, that's available that he can bring in that has some experience doing, some of the backstage stuff, agent, booking, whatever, he could do that. He could
Yeah,
absolutely do that. So yeah,
absolutely.
you got to keep your guys happy, man, because things are gonna start heating up with
Yep.
Vince McMahon gone and everything. So yeah,
No, yeah, 100%, Ricky. Moving on to WWE real quick. Johnny Gargano's return. He came back. I
you've been
can't. I
wait
mean,
you've been waiting for this, haven't
I've
you?
been, I've been waiting for Ricky. His return to WWE on Monday Night Raw sent shockwaves to the wrestling industry. It was a genuine surprise for fans who were unsure of the former NXT champion's intentions to resign with the company or take his talents elsewhere. But I think we all knew once Triple H took over. I think we all knew that that meant the return of Johnny Wrestling,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what happened. Ricky, he's back.
And if
He's
you think
back.
about it, man, he's lucky,
Yep.
lucky because man, if Vince McMahon would still be in power right now, I guarantee you he wouldn't go back. He probably
No,
would have ended up in AEW.
I don't blame him. Look what they were doing to Tommaso Ciampa. Do
Yeah.
you think? Do you think they would have? You think they would have done Johnny Gargano differently? No, he would have been
No.
right beside him as Mrs. Lackey. Let's be honest.
Yeah, Mrs. Lackey or somebody's Lackey, but for sure he was gonna be somebody's Lackey. For sure.
Right. He
I remember when Adam Cole, before he left, they wanted to make him Keith Lee's manager on the main roster when Keith Lee was still there. So he was gonna be Keith Lee's lackey. That was the role they wanted to do with Adam Cole, and he was like, "Nope, I'm out." So
makes no sense. Yeah.
yeah,
No.
That was Vince McMahon. That was the old regime, and this
Yep.
is the new one. And Johnny Gargano. It was as soon as Triple H took power, it was almost guaranteed he was coming back. Him, Karrion Cross, you name it, man. They were gonna be
And I'm
back.
excited. I'm excited. We're finally going to see those type of matches, those type of talent, that type of talent in the main roster. I'm glad to see it. Back again with Tommaso Ciampa. Maybe we can see more rivalry matches between those two. Maybe we can see them team up and be DIY again. Who knows?
Yeah.
Regardless of the fact, I'm all for it. I'm excited for it. I'm glad to see Johnny Wrestling back. It only means positivity going into WWE. So I'm definitely happy to see it, man, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So and then finally we're seeing some fresh matches. That's what I look the most forward to, man. Not the same
Yep.
rematches every week or every
Yep.
pay per view. Fresh new matches. Triple H, is going to give them time to showcase what they can do. So yeah, pretty good stuff.
Fresh new matches, good quality wrestling, all coming from WWE. Couldn't have come in a better time because it seems like AEW's having a lot of drama backstage for sure.
You knew it was going to happen. It was going to happen eventually, man. It wasn't always going to be. They've been out of the honeymoon period a long time ago now. So
Yeah.
now Tony Khan, since he's a rookie wrestling promoter. Now he's starting to see what it's really like. How to deal with the egos and all this stuff and everything that has to do with pro wrestling. So good learning experience for him, man.
100%. Dog days are over. The dog days are here. Honeymoon phase is over. So we'll see. We'll see what they have. A lot of good talent. who are signed for a lot of good years for AEW. So there's still going to be quality wrestling and quality shows there. So I mean, for wrestling fans, like for me, like I love watching wrestling. So the fact that I get to see two good shows, two good promotions, at least now that they're coming back as a good promotion, excites me. It excites me again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So definitely, I think I haven't watched AEW tonight, but I'm going to rewatch it. I want to see what happened.
That main event.
Yeah,
Man, you're gonna love that. You're gonna love that main event, man.
Yeah, I'm a
Lucha
fan.
Bros Pac and Pac against Will Ospreay and his guys. That was great. That was I guess that was a qualifier for the trios titles. That was the match of the night.
Yeah, definitely gonna watch that for sure. So yeah, no, I'm excited to see it for sure, man. I think wrestling is definitely doing their thing.
For sure.
100%. You guys are listening to Sports Trip Live. And what a show. It went by fast, didn't it? Already 11 o'clock hour. Went by quick. We did start a little bit late, but we definitely filled it up with with everything we wanted to talk about. Anything you want to say before we sign off?
No, just want to say everybody that was in the comments, thanks for supporting us. Thanks for commenting. And thanks for tuning in. And we'll be here next week as always. So
yeah, as always, we'll be here next week. We'll get into some wrestling drama as far as what's going on with AEW, WWE, and then of course we'll get into some more boxing and UFC. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Joshua, for watching. Everybody who commented. For my brother Enrique, my name's Jose. We will see you guys next week.